With that, 7 p.m. and we are recording. So over to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Kevin. So starting today, May 22nd's meeting, Kevin, can you do a roll call for us?
Certainly. Is there Ibrahim Turkey?
Present.
Vice Chair Mehdi Amajad?
Present.
Chair Faisal Azim?
Present.
All right, Mr. Chair, you have a quorum of 3, and we should expect Masood at any time.
Sounds good. So I see that we have Courtney join us. Courtney, do you want to introduce yourself to us?
Yes, that'd be my pleasure. My name is Courtney Duke-Jason, and I'm currently serving as interim county counsel for Washington County. And I am covering the meeting tonight because Adriana, who has been assisting you up to this point, is at her son's musical concert, which felt like the more important place for her to be this evening.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, so I guess I'll just do a quick introduction. So I am the chair for this Salary Commission. This is my first time joining a commission like this. Madhya, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, Courtney. I'm Madhiya Amjad. I'm the vice chair for the Salary Commission. And this is my first time volunteering for the Washington County too. And it's a bit of a ride going through all the paperwork.
Myself, Courtney, she knows me well, so we know each other very well. We worked together for many years.
Yes. Good to see you all, and thank you all for your time and your service to this community. It's very important, and we appreciate your help.
Thanks. And I see Masood has also joined. Welcome, Masood.
Thank you. Good evening, Masood Rashid.
Cool. So the first item on the agenda is to approve the Salary Commission notes from the last meeting on May 20th. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
I second.
Thank you. So we have the motion to approve the minutes on the floor. Everybody who agrees to approve, go ahead.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So everybody voted to approve the notes. With that, the motion to approve the notes from last meeting has passed.
Do you have Commissioner Willey joining right now, Mr. Chair?
Oh, that's perfect. So I think for once we are ahead of schedule. So let's go ahead.
Can you hear us, Commissioner Willey?
Yes, I can. Just a second, I got to make sure that I get all the buttons pushed. So yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, Commissioner Willey, this is the Salary Commission. So, Mr. Chair, I will let you take it from here.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Riley, for joining us. So myself, Madhiya, Ibrahim, and Masood are on the County Commission. We had a 5th person who had to drop. So this time the Salary Commission has 4 people. I don't know whether we need to do like a long introduction or not. Kind of that's a summary of it. If it's okay, I guess we can start so that we can give most of the time to you. I think you got some of our questions already, so feel free to kind of whether you want to just do overview of covering those questions, or if you want us to ask them afterwards, either way works. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I do have all of the questions, and I guess the first question is, can I describe the main responsibilities of me as a commissioner? And realizing that the commission is divided up into 4 districts, and then there's the chair that oversees the entire county. Each of our districts are unique, and so I will speak to only District 4. District 4 is the western side of Washington County. I have 6 cities in my district. I touch Yamhill, Tillamook, Clatsop, and Columbia counties, And so my responsibilities spread basically from general county responsibilities, as well as organizations that are specific to my district. And that would be timber counties, and certainly trust counties in regards to the timber responsibilities. COLPAC is an organization that is the economic development side of things, and that again touch with Tillamook, Clatsop, and Columbia counties. So I meet with them. We have a transportation, Northwest Transportation Group, that is also specific to that geographics. And so my responsibilities as a county commissioner spreads throughout all of those counties, as well as Washington County and Metro, and our responsibilities for that. So it's pretty broad. I really like my district. It's a very different perspective a lot of times than county general, because we deal with Metro and the other 3 counties in that respect. And so it's a pretty broad brush of responsibilities that fall under District 4.
Thank you for that. Would you also like to talk about your background and your experience on the commission? Like, how long has the experience been?
Well, this is my 2nd term. I'm 6 years into the commission. Prior to this, I was the mayor of Hillsborough for 8 years. And before that, I was a partner in a CPA firm for about 32 years. So I bring that accounting responsibilities and certainly the financial side of things to my county. From my district standpoint, like I said, I have 6 cities. I meet with my cities at least twice or 3 times a year. I go to their city council meetings. I let them know what the council, what the commission is doing, and kind of bring them up to speed so that they are fully aware of what we as a commission are doing. And if they have any particular issues with their concerns about how it impacts their cities, I certainly address those. My 6 cities are Hillsborough, Cornelius, Forest Grove, Gaston, Banks, and North Plains. So you can see as well that the city of Hillsborough is the 5th largest city in the state. So their issues and their focus is much different than Cornelius, and specifically much different than a Gaston. So it's a broad conversation that I have with each one of them, and I enjoy that very much, having those conversations and dealing specifically with what their issues are.
So for development or issues, do you guys partner like on projects that are common across county and city also, or is it more letting each other know what you guys are doing so people can plan accordingly?
Well, it's probably along the lines of how can we help you? Specifically, I can say that a few years ago, Gaston, their city hall was condemned. And so they needed to find a place that they could hold their city council meetings. They did that for a considerable while at the fire district in Gaston, and that was a good location. They have since found another location that they have been able to acquire. I worked with them in trying to find some federal grants and some state money so that they could afford that, because their budget, as you could imagine, is very, very small. And so when they had to find a new location, it was financially stressful for them. And we were able to do that, I think. We worked with Federal Senator Wyden's office. and as well as the state, and to find them some grant money so that they could move into a more permanent location. And so that's Gaston. Then you move to, Banks, and they've got some significant growth possibilities. North Plains is in a different financial and certainly political environment. So each one is unique, and it's good that we can talk to them as a county and find out how we can help them and make sure that we're all on the same page.
Sounds good. Anybody else wants to ask questions, or should I
Yes,
just continue?
I can ask a
Go ahead.
question. Commissioner Willey, what do you think is the difference between a commissioner's, your role, and the chair's? Like how much different the workload is?
Well, the chair's position is overall Washington County, but she also coordinates with Multnomah County and Clackamas County. Specifically, we're talking about metro issues. So she's the point person there. She meets with the mayors of Washington County, again, just to have that communication as to what their priorities are and what their concerns are about what we do. And so the chair's position is much more broad, where mine is probably a narrow scope, but certainly considerably different. My district is a very conservative district, and they have their own small city needs, and the issues that they're going through. As you know, North Plains has had their political turmoil in the last year. Banks, on the other side, has significant growth possibilities, and those are going to be problematic as well. So it's important that I be able to communicate what their needs are from a county perspective, and that I work with our city staff, primarily probably land use and transportation, as to what impacts them. And if there are some barriers there, if there's some concerns there, it's my job to coordinate the communication between our departments and their cities.
Okay, thank you. Since you just mentioned the political turmoil in North Plains, do you think in the near future that your scope of your work or your responsibilities are going to increase in complexity, or in anything new projects coming up?
Are you talking about how it impacts District 4?
Yeah, just your district. Yeah.
Well, it's important, I think, that that we have a good communication partnership in that. North Plains is particularly difficult because they have had a complete turnover of their mayor and city council, and they are definitely differently focused on what the previous council or the previous commission was. And so I'm trying to reach out and talk to them about how we coordinate those things. So far, that's been difficult. I haven't been able to do that, but it's my job to make sure that we maintain the communication, that we don't necessarily dictate what it is that they want to do as a community, but that how the county can help.
I have a similar question as Mathia has asked, and it is also, I think, question number 5 or 6 on the list of the questions. If you consider the job 2 years ago, and if you consider the job that you have today, roles and responsibility, how those things have changed in 2 years? Have they changed and increased? Have they changed or decreased? I'm looking for the scope change pretty much.
The scope change from District 4 would be along the lines of what I just said, that those communities are experiencing significant change, not only politically in their commissions, but certainly their focus on growth and their development. So that's a District 4 perspective. If you're asking me how overall as a commissioner in the last 2 years, the job description has changed, that's a different answer. And how that has happened is that there's been a number of things that have happened, especially in the last 6 or 8 months, that have put an additional burden on each one of our commissioners' responsibility to deal with issues. And so I could specifically say Clean Water Services and the media attention that they've gotten, the change in leadership at Clean Water Services, the accusations that have been in the media, all of those have taken a considerable amount of time on each of the commissioners to try and deal with that and move forward on it. So again, the scope from my standpoint is I like to focus on my District 4 and because there's a number of issues that are going on there, but then I have to step back and say big scope is we have to deal with the regional issues. And specifically, I would say the 2 regional issues are Clean Water Services and then Metro with the shelter housing situation.
Thank you. That's the kind of answer I was looking for. The details that you have provided are perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure it changes from like at different times of the year, but on average, how much time do you think you spend on your responsibilities as a commissioner? And then what kind of community outreach you are normally involved in?
Well, the time commitment has significantly increased in the last year, and specifically probably in the last several months. As a commissioner, I sit on about 13 boards and commissions, and they vary from, like I said, not only the city responsibilities and the changes that they're going through, but I also oversee all of the timber. And so I represent 3 different counties on the Council of Forest Trust Lands. And the Council of Forest Trust Lands is 15 counties that several years ago turned their responsibilities of their forest over to the state. And so now we are dealing with a habitat conservation plan that will significantly impact the amount of harvest, which significantly impacts the financial abilities from those counties. Specifically, probably the top 3 are Tillamook, Clatsop, and Washington counties. So when there is a reduction of harvest, there's a reduction of revenues that come to those respective 15 counties. In Washington County's situation, we're expecting about a 30% decrease in revenues, and we give away 68% of our money to school districts and special districts. So it not only impacts the county and our money, but it impacts all of the school districts and those special districts. And so it's my responsibility to represent those folks when we go before the Board of Forestry and everything else. So I'm sorry, that's a little bit more detailed, but again, it's the scope of my responsibility in District 4 to have a pretty broad, diverse knowledge of a whole bunch of things. And that has pretty significantly increased in the last year and a half.
So adding to this statement of yours that it's significantly increased, do you think your support staff is sufficient? with this increase of?
We have a great support staff. It's not only just my administrative assistant that you had to deal with to get me on the calendar, but she does a great job. She supports two commissioners, Commissioner Treese and myself. She does a great job there. But when we have other issues, like timber issues, the staff are great in supporting that. I rely a lot on the Association of Oregon Counties staff as well. Salmonberry Trail is another example. I don't know if you know anything about the Salmonberry Trail, but it's basically a rail to trail project that starts in Banks, Oregon, and goes to Tillamook. It's 82 miles. 27 miles of that is in Washington County. And so I deal with Oregon Parks and certainly two other organizations that I sit on the executive committee for representing the county. And so, yeah, it's to me, it's very enjoyable. It's very fun, but it's also very demanding.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I'll go next. In terms of responsibilities for our Washington County Board versus maybe some of the neighboring county, in your opinion, how the roles compare or contrast?
Well, Multnomah County is obviously the largest county in Washington, in Oregon, and we are right behind them. They are structured differently than we are. I think our chair has different responsibilities than their chair. Certainly, their budget is considerably larger than our budget. And I think each of their commissioners have different responsibilities as well. So I think if I could, excuse me, if I could define that a little bit, that you look at Multnomah County, and a significant part of Multnomah County is the city of Portland.
Yeah.
So their commissioners have to deal with the city of Portland mayor and council much more, I think, personally than we do. We have all of our cities. We talk to our cities. We work with our cities. We have public safety. We have libraries. And so, and remember that our unincorporated area in Washington County is 220,000 people. The unincorporated area of Multnomah County is very small. So the job description, I believe, between Multnomah County and us is pretty significant. And I don't know the intricacies of that, but I just see that when we work with Multnomah County commissioners, it's primarily on metro issues.
In your opinion, does the current salary fairly reflects the scope and responsibilities that you have as a commissioner, or do you have any opinions on that you want to give?
You know, I don't know what other commissioners make. And you know, if you want to do a comparison of the three counties, Clackamas, Multnomah, and Washington County, I don't know what they make versus what we make. I think our compensation is reasonable. I didn't come into this job for the salary. I mean, remember when 2019, when I first came on the commission, we were half-time. And so then we went to full-time a few years later by demand, and that was been a good thing. And so I'm perfectly comfortable with my commission salary just because that's not my primary source of income. Honestly, I'm a retired person. I came into this half-time because I wanted to contribute to the county, just like when I was mayor for 8 years. I gave up my job as a partner in a CPA firm to take on the mayor making $2,000 a month. So my joke was then I gave up the high-paying job to become a mayor, but it's been very rewarding for me. I enjoy it. And so the money is not a driving factor for me. I'm perfectly comfortable with the compensation schedule that we have.
Chair, it's about 20 minutes.
Thank you so much, Tony, for the reminder. Any other questions that we have? Feel free to jump in, Masood, Ibrahim, Maria.
I think Commissioner Wiley covered all our questions, and I'm satisfied.
I think if I could make a point about our compensation, we have, as you know, over the past 5 years, we have reduced our budget by $99 million. $99 million. So we have budget constraints. So I would be hesitant to encourage a significant increase in our compensation, even though, quite frankly, our job description has significantly increased. But I'll speak for me. I don't want to put any more budgetary burden on our county for that purpose. We are here, just like as mayor, it was a voluntary position. I view that the same thing here. It's a voluntary position, and the compensation doesn't make or break me as to why I would take this position.
Thank you.
Actually, maybe one question I thought of after you said so. Would you describe like in terms of so there are multiple things that affect your scope, both in terms of like budget and the number of people that you serve, and how varied those people or cities are, I guess. So do you think that with the impact on budget shrinking, the responsibility and decrease also, or you don't see that as it's something that you have to manage while your responsibilities are increasing? A decrease in budget doesn't, the way I'm thinking about it is like with the budget decreasing, does it mean like some of the programs will go away and that might take less of your time, or that doesn't really happen? You guys try to figure out how to manage in the smaller budget.
No, just like all of our employees of Washington County, we have to do more with less. And we are dealing with that on a regular basis. We have to look at our sources of revenue and say, what can we do more with less money? And then how can we communicate to our residents of Washington County that if they want increased services, and public safety is certainly probably at the top of their list, we've got to sustain those services. We've got to make sure that we have a safe county. And I think that's our focus. And then we have to decide, how do we fund those services at the level that we absolutely need to? And it's a prioritization of the different services that we have as a county. And so we are constantly paying attention to what's the most important thing that we can do that our residents of Washington County would appreciate. And that's top of mind, especially right now. We just passed our budget yesterday. It was a hard budget because after 5 years, we finally had to lay off people. And that's very hard. And so we keep that as top of mind as to how do we balance those kinds of things. And I think probably going into the rest of 25 and into 26, we're going to need to figure out how we can generate more revenues to provide those services.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, I think that takes care of all the questions we had. Thank you for all the information and joining us today.
Okay, you bet. Thank you for what you do. I appreciate your volunteering for this. This is a very important thing, as I know that every couple of years we have to do this. So thank you for your service to this, and we appreciate certainly your recommendations.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I see Anne's hand is up. Anne, you have a comment?
I don't see that my
Oh
hand
no,
is
sorry,
up,
that was my bad. Sorry. Yeah, it was
but
my
I'm
mouse.
happy to talk, and it's really, that was lovely. You all did a great job.
Thanks. Oh, I just wanted to say we have a 5-minute break, right?
Yes.
Faisal, do you want to just lead the questions, sort of like, or maybe you can just ask us towards the end if we have anything, or how do you want to make? Maybe that'll be faster.
Yeah, that's true actually. I was also thinking the same, that should I just go through the questions that
Yeah,
we
just
already
go through,
have,
and if then after that,
okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Okay, I will do that for the next thing. Any other feedback anybody has?
And I appreciate Tony for keeping the eye on the clock, because that is going to be important.
No problem.
Thank you. Anything else we want to change or discuss before we open?
I think also it could be that different commissioners might have a different style of doing it. So
Of course.
While we have agreed that Faisal is going to ask the questions, but it is still okay for us to ask our slant on the questions or answers.
Of course.
I hope.
Jump in. Okay, so with that, I see Nafisa Pai has joined. We are a little bit ahead, but I think we can take advantage. She is here, so we can welcome Nafisa. I'm Faisal. I'm the commissioner. Oh, sorry, I'm the chair of this Salary Commission. We have Madhya, Ibrahim, and Masood as the other Salary Commission members. One of the person had to drop, so this time the commission only has 4 people. I just did a quick introduction so that we can give most of the time to you. So the floor is yours. Feel free to do your introduction and however you want to go through that. You already have some of the questions that we wanted, so if you want, you can touch on those during your comments, or you can let us ask them, whichever works better for you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can start introducing myself and say hello. Many of you, I think, I know you and seen you. So, hi, Abraham. Good to see you. And hi, Courtney. A lot of familiar faces here, but thank you. I'm excited. Thanks, Kevin, for scheduling this interview. I'm Nafisa Pai. I'm the elected commissioner for District 1. This is my 2nd term. I'm in my 5th year of my 2nd term. There's no 5 years each term, but 2 terms, 4 year each. It's been an honor and a privilege and blessing to really be the commissioner for District 1, and it's been busy for 2nd term. I think I felt like the 1st term I was drinking from the firehouse. I feel like this year it's drinking from the firehouse, especially with what's happening at the federal level. A lot of the budget challenges, our county and neighboring counties and everyone throughout Oregon is sort of feeling that pain. And so this year is different. The 2nd term is different. So I'll stop there and see, do you want me to answer questions or?
Maybe you can talk more about like your background and how has your experience been in the 1st term?
Oh yeah, I'm originally from Somalia. Born and raised there, and came to America. I feel like a million years ago. Not that I'm a million years, very young. I came here and fell in love in public health, and that's been my track and field that I've dedicated most of my professional career. I worked, the last organization I worked for was Upstream Public Health, and we did a lot of policy work and really try to make sure that we have healthy people in healthy counties and try to implement public health policies at the local level, regional, and then statewide. So policy and lobbying was from that, and we really did a lot of good work in, I think this is back in 2010 era or 2012 era. That's where my fight with tobacco industry started, I feel like, to try to make sure, you know, we balance this dynamic that exists between the tobacco industry and our community, and to try to implement stronger guardrails to protect people and help them to, especially when from our youth. And then henceforward, you know, fast forward 2021 or 2022, Washington County, we became the first county to implement a ban on flavored tobacco. I think that's like 10 or 12 years later, but we wanted to do that in 2012, but we had to wait 10 years to get to that. But nonetheless, we did it, and I'm very proud to be a commissioner for this county. And you know, first year was really different because we were in the middle of the pandemic, and county was, we were online, and then position became full time, and we had a lot of ambitious goals, and then we have a lot of demands and needs that we had to address. So it's been it was busy first year, but you know, my vision for our county, and me specifically as a district commissioner, it's always been, you know, how do we keep a county that is safe, diverse, vibrant, and innovative, where all people are valued and can thrive in their pursuits. So that's been my vision for the county, and how I move and how I operate, and balance this dynamic of, you know, being a transformational leadership while also needing to be a little bit of a performative, because politics is, you have to feel like, but it's been really good. I'm lucky to have a lot of subject matter experts in our county to help navigate all the things that we need to help implement and fight for our constituents. And you know, my mission has always been through collaboration with the community and commitment to the common good, and to lead with integrity, transparency, and to make sure that I'm serving as an effective commissioner that really safeguards and enhances the quality of life for all. So that's really just been my core mission and values, vision. And then for me, you know, values are very strong, and I believe that they help lead, you know, lead you every day, even the moments you're having a hard time. So I always remind myself every morning about my core values and why I do what I do. And I value equity. I value empowerment. Accessibility is a strong value for me, making sure that, you know, this Washington County has existed. This is a county that was founded in 1843. So that's way before me. And I'm pretty sure it's going to exist long after me. But while I'm here and while I'm part of this, how do I make sure the system is accessible to the people that it needs to help serve? And it's transparent. And there's accountability, and there's integrity in how we do our work. I value safety, obviously, and collaboration is a really key value for me. And in Washington County, you know, where I come from a different generation, so I really value, and I grew up hearing this, and I believe it to my core, that Washington County is the economic engine of Oregon. I've heard that since I was, you know, learning the ropes of this career, and I still stand strong. I know different people have different opinions, and we are the economic engine of Oregon because we have innovation, and we're an innovative county. And then this year, sustainability is a value for me, and something that I live by.
Could I ask a question regarding how many cities are in your District 1? How do you interact with them? What do you do? What are the responsibilities that you have towards them? And a few things about your interaction with them and how you help them.
Good question. So the county is broken down in 4 districts, and each district has about the same number. I think each is by between 150 and 160, or between 147 and 1, somewhere around that. So each district should have about 150,000 people, equal amount. I represent District 1, and so we have that amount, that many people. And my district is about 95% of the city of Beaverton falls into District 1. And then the rest of that is unincorporated. So I used to call it the ABC district, meaning Aloha, Beaverton, and Cooper Mountain. But since the reapportionment happened, which is in 2023, or I think it went into effect in 2023, this district, because one district gained a lot more people, moved into that district, and we had to go into reapportionment because of the census data to make sure that there's an equal residents in each district. I've gained new neighbors in District 1, so now I get to represent residents that live in the Garden Home. So it's certain part of Garden Home is in District 1, and then the rest are in District 3. And then Raleigh Hills, some neighbors in Raleigh Hill were put in the boundaries of District 1. And then Whitford, and I still represent Aloha because I actually happen to live in Aloha. And then a little bit of parts of the Reedville area that is now considered Hillsborough. So majority of the city I have is city of Beaverton, and then the rest are incorporated residents of Washington County. In terms of how I interact with them, I came here as a refugee, did not know any English, and utilizing the system was a bit of a blessing in disguise because we had good people that helped us navigate. So I'm a firm believer that government systems should be accessible to everyone, and that people that do this work should go to where the people are and should help facilitate that open and transparent government. So I came in 2021 with the mandate to conduct a monthly town hall and do a quarterly civic engagement. Civic engagement that is an hour and a half long, and I invite somebody that really made a difference in my life, or I've heard a really great story about their civic engagement journey. I invite that person quarterly to come and join me. I do the civic engagement training is really how to access your government one-on-one. It's literally a training. How do you get involved? How do you get in touch with the county? How do you participate, and how do you give feedback publicly or privately? And I don't limit to, hey, here's how you contact Nafisa. It's not that. It's how you contact the county. And when I say the county, really just talk about not only the colleagues that serve me, but actually the subject matter that work. And hey, if you have any transportation issue, you go to this website, this transportation, you put your comment here. If you want to know anything about, the health and what we're doing to make sure people are healthy and healthy community, here's where you go. So I really have a sort of a broader perspective of how I think people should be engaged, because that's what I wanted when I didn't know how to engage the system. And really, it also came from when I was campaigning the first time. The community said to me, oh, I don't even know who my commissioner is. And we've had a commissioner that's been 20 years serving our district, who was very accessible and transparent, yet people didn't know. So I took that as, we need to deliver the education and meet people where they are. And the more they know, the better we can be to do our job, because the more you know, sort of that NBC mentality, that commercial, sorry. So I do monthly town halls, and I do it virtually, and then I do on just the virtually, because it started in pandemic 2021. And I really try to sort of inspire and help people and empower my colleagues to do their own quarterly, because at one time we had over 100 people registered. And my staff, Brenda, and I learned this. We didn't know that we could open it up anybody to register. We just sort of picked a number and said 100 people can register, and come to find out there were more than 100 people that wanted to come to that town hall and they couldn't register. And sure enough, how we found out was we got so many emails, people complaining and saying, I wanted to come, your town hall is telling me you're at capacity and we can't come to you. And that was a two, one, we learned that we needed to make sure that anybody can register and attend these town halls. So we put a 200 limit. And then two, I realized that I can't be the only one doing this. It needs to be others who are also holding space for people to come. Because a lot of people, they were really just, sometimes they just wanted to be heard, say that I'm scared. This road is really problematic. I've witnessed 5 accidents happen this road. What can you do? And it was really good for me to then take that information and meet with the subject matter experts, the staff, and say, please help me, because this is what I've heard and it's disturbing. So monthly town halls, I do 2022, when we came out of the pandemic, residents said, we need to see you, Nafisa, we need to meet you in person. So they demanded that I hold an in-person constituent coffee. So since then, I've been doing monthly constituent coffee, where we just send an email and say, I'm going to be at this coffee shop this month, come meet me. And we first started off 9 to 12, and it was a long hours, and now we do 9 to 11, just implementing this year, just shorter time. But that was a popular demand. And then civic, and then I'm out in the community, and I love co-partnering with community members, and I'm in collaboration and connection and connected to the city of Hillsborough, because it's the city I get to represent and work with, and really admire and respect the mayor there, and then the mayor of Hillsborough, Steve Calloway, and then now Beach Pace. So those are my sort of my accessibility and transparent, how do I facilitate making government accessible and transparent?
So in addition to community outreach, can you also talk about what committees or boards do you serve on? And
yeah, and I saw, Ibram, you had your hand raised. Was I talking over you? Then you went down.
No, I had a question, but it was, you answered it during your talk.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So in terms of committees I serve, there's statewide, regional, and national committees that I serve. So I represent, and the committees these committees, I don't get to represent myself. I represent the board's position and decisions on these topics. So it's not me attending these committees. It's really a sort of a topic that we debated and had robust conversations, and then I take that position. And then obviously I add my own nuances and lived experience. And sometimes there's things that happen at the moment that you have to pivot and change. So I am on Joint Advisory Committee on Transportation. This is a Metro committee. Just wrapped out the TV Highway Transit Project Steering Committee. And then I just got assigned to the TriMet House Bill 2017 Transit Committee. And I actually need to find out. This used to be a Commissioner Roy Rogers committee and transferred. And then I'm an alternate to the Metro Policy Advisory Committee. And then I'm also an alternate to the Work Systems Committee. And then I serve on the Association of Oregon Counties Health and Human Services Steering Committee. And I'm actually the co-chair, so on that one. And then nationally, the National Association of County Officials Transportation Committee, I'm a vice chair in the Transportation Committee. And then in terms of like county, so that's national, regional, and statewide. In terms of county, I sit on the Washington County Coordinating Committee, and then Washington County Urban Road Maintenance District Advisory Committee. I'm an alternate on that one. Internally, we have a Washington County Equity Leadership Council that Tanya Angie, who's the county administrator, and I co-chair on that. And then I am an ex officio, not an ex officio, but non-voting member for the Washington County Public Health Advisory Council. Basically, I attend from the board, but we have no voting. And then I see a hand raised. But I will add one last committee, the Public Safety Levy Steering Committee. I sit on that one internally too. This is a county specific where we debating how we structure the Public Safety Steering Committee, the Public Safety Levy, what investments we make, how do we make that investment, how much should we ask the residents to contribute for that investment. So I sit on that committee. Lots of committees.
Can you talk about like how much time? I'm sure like it changes from time of the year, but like on average, how much time do you spend on outreach, boards, community, all of this activities, and maybe also touch on how it has changed from the last 2 years to now?
Well, I would say in 2021, when we went to in person, when we came out of the pandemic, everything sort of increased. But now I think it's in a good rhythm. I feel like we've been a full-time commissioners since 2021. So the cadence of work in committees have been sort of leveling, but there's always been this number of committees, and obviously these are monthly committees, and not every day. And some of them, like the Washington County Equity Leadership, I think it's quarterly. We meet quarterly, and then the ones but so in terms of like the quantification of to quantify what the question you asked, I would say if we were successful in doing this, I think about 40% should be out facing to the community and doing these engagements and doing being out.
I want to add something specific, like in terms of number of hours per week and days per week. Like, when do you have to work Monday to Friday? How many hours per week? If you could just give us a rough estimate.
8 hours a week, 8 hours a day, I would say. I try to really live by this work-life balance. I try to, if I was a worker bee and I had a supervisor, I try to operate like that. So I try to go to the office 3 days a week, but I'm not strict on like, I'm going to work 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. Sometimes you have to go to community events and you're out until 10 o'clock. Sometimes you have to attend some events that the community is having. So I try to be flexible, but I try to stay in the parameters that the residents are paying me to work 40 hours a week and more. So I try to make sure that I do that kind of,
Thank you.
Masood, do you have a question?
Yes, Nafisa, I'm asking this question to almost everybody, so I'm going to ask that in a similar way that I have asked other people so far. Between the last 2 years ago and fast forward today, how has your job changed? Has your responsibilities increased, or have they decreased? Or what are the roles and responsibilities that you were delivering or you were asked to perform 2 years ago, and now they are different? And what are those different new responsibilities?
Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously, there's not. I feel like if we had so many hours a day, we could do so much. I feel like everybody who's in these positions get in to really make a difference and help people and be available. So if there's more we could do with our time, there's always that. In terms of the responsibility changing, um, I feel like this job is getting more and more busy in politics. And then the other dynamic that now that is occupying significant amount of time from our significant amount of energy and time is that's taking is clean water services. You know, we serve as the board of directors for Clean Water Services, is a $700 million organization that has about over 300 employees, that does an amazing, important work that we really need to pay attention and be more diligent in how we engage. And I think once with the whole media debacle happened, we are learning that we need to really roll up our sleeves and pay more attention. You know, majority of our work in the past has been focused on Washington County government side. And we really focused on that. It's like, and this is not something I'm saying, it's on the record. Like if you look at our agendas, it's heavily on Washington County side. But now, because of what has unfolded in the media, many of us are taking an active role to be more engaged and more involved in the dealings, in the operations of the clean water services. And that's taking a lot of time away from what we've already committed to do. But it's not like we can say goodbye to this work and hello to this new work. We have to continue to do what we've committed, what we've established, and what we've shown to our residents that we can do for them. So we need to continue to do that. And then now also pay extra attention to clean water services. I used to volunteer for the Clean Water Services Advisory Commission. So I've always understood the role, the board, the importance of that work. But I think of the board playing a significant role, like we play for Washington County. I think that's been sort of missing. Because
a couple minutes left, folks.
Do you think that the clean water services related responsibilities will continue to the level that you are seeing recently, or would they go back to the level that you used to have or used to see a year ago, 2 years ago? Do you think that this is permanent or this is temporary?
No, I don't see it going back down. You know, I think until we have a really difficult conversation about the structure and what exists right there, and we figure out a way to, you know, how do we align Washington County and Clean Water Services? Should they be this two separate things, or should they be combined? Like until we have those conversations, the government structure, it's just right now we just have to make time and do this work of clean water services, really be involved, pick up the phone, get to know the staff. Like I know Washington County staff, like just like I know at the back of my hand, right? Like there's no, you know, you call anybody, you either get a text back or you get, your phone gets picked up or you get a call back immediately. If clean water services, we need to be at that level to have that kind of a relationship, to get to know the staff, to invest time, because the relationship that we have in Washington County is a relationship that's based on investment, mutual investment, both sides. So we need to do that. We need to be more involved, and we need to continue to be that active commission, the board members for the Clean Water Service. So I don't see it reducing and going back, because then that means we would play the same, we will pay the small attention we've paid, and that's not what's required. That's not now. The landscape has changed. Things have been discovered, and questions have been asked, and we need to deliver. We need to meet the residents where they are to say, yeah, I am the board of director for Clean Water Services.
Thank
And
you.
you might not pay me to, or you might not be thinking that pay structure or whatnot, but people see us as the board of directors. So we need to do more work and figure out what that looks like.
Thank you. I think we're almost out of time. Maybe if anybody has a question that we can get a quick answer, feel free. Go ahead, Leah.
I have a question. So just linking it quickly to whatever you have just mentioned regarding your scope of work, do you believe that your current salary fairly reflects all the work you do? And is it comparable to the other commissions in the other counties that you feel is, how do you feel about that?
I don't have a strong opinion about that. I ran for this job when it was a part-time. So I didn't run this job for the money. I knew what I was getting into and I knew how much it paid. And I intentionally made the decision to be a county commissioner. And I appreciate the salary commission and the foresight on that. But for me, it's never been about money. I appreciate the compensation. I'm not complaining because I'm a working mom and I had another part-time lined up because I wanted this part-time and this part-time to make a full-time kind of.
So do you still have part-time?
No, I do not. So when I became a full-time, I quit that one to have a full-time job. But I mentioned that to say that like I knew what I was getting into, so the money wasn't a factor for me. But I appreciate the work you all do and the time and resource and the amount of energy you put in. And I'm comfortable supporting whatever the commission decides. I don't really, I know there's been a lot in the news about this county gets paid this much and we get paid this much and we have the, that's never been the forefront for me. It's always been, I wanted to be a Washington County Commission because I had a strong vision for this county and mission and what I can accomplish. I knew the truth about myself and what I'm capable of achieving.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nafisa, for your time and all the information and answering our questions here today.
Yeah, I appreciate you all. Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Should I
you.
log out or do I stay or what do you all want to do? Want to hang out?
It's up to you if you want to hang out. This is a public meeting.
No, thank
It's
you.
up to you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, we have your last commissioner of the evening, Mr. Commissioner Jason Snider of District 3. Welcome, Commissioner Snider, and good evening to you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Commissioner Snider. I'll just quickly introduce ourselves. So I am Faisal, the chair of Salary Commission this year. We have Madhya Amjad, who is the co-chair, and then we have Masood and Ibrahim as the other members of this commission. This year we had 1% drop, so the Salary Commission only has four board members.
Thank you all for serving. I want to really appreciate the time you're putting into this.
Well, thank you so much. So my intention for the quick introduction so that I can give most of the time to you. You already have some of our questions, so you know
Yes.
some of the things that you want to ask, but feel free to go in any format. You can introduce yourself, your roles and responsibilities, and anything you want to cover, and then we can ask any questions.
Okay, I will try to cover and integrate your answers to questions that you've posed in this. And just for background, this is my, I guess, third elected role in elected government. And so I will compare and contrast a little bit in those situations. I served as both a city councilor and then the mayor of Tigard before I became a county commissioner. So I will do some comparison there as far as time, et cetera. One of your questions is around describing the main responsibilities of us as county commissioners. And the first thing that I want to make sure you all know about is that from my perspective, we don't have just one role. We have four roles. And I was listening to the end of Commissioner Fai's interview. One is as county commissioner, and that is, really kind of comparable to Clackamas or Multnomah County. in the role and what we do. But we also are the Housing Authority Board of Directors, which neither of those counties serve in those roles. And we are also the Clean Water Services Board of Directors. Commissioner Fye kind of covered that a bit, and I can certainly talk about it more. That's a big organization. Frankly, the Housing Authority is a big organization. And then the thing I think gets missed the most, and I think it's really important for you all to understand the scope and just the number of issues and complexity of issues really comes from the urban unincorporated areas of Washington County. That drives a significant amount of work that I would compare more to what happens in a city. And that matters because of just the sheer size. I would guess some of you probably live in those unincorporated urban areas. There's 215,000 people living in urban unincorporated Washington County. And if that were a city, it'd be the second largest city in the state. And why that matters is all those people don't have a city government. They're all coming to the county for the issues that would typically go to a city. And so we really serve all in four, in my mind, four pretty major distinct roles. Again, one as just traditional county commissioner, county issues, two Clean Water Services Board of Directors, the Housing Authority Board of Directors as well. And then this role where we're basically serving, I would say, from a functional perspective, as the city council in this second largest city in the state. And those all take time. The only one that doesn't have its own formal minutes and other things is that role as sort of a quasi city council in the unincorporated urban area. But it drives a significant amount of communication from members of the community, people complaining about everything like chickens. This is all stuff I saw as a mayor and a city councilor. But typically you wouldn't get that kind of stuff if you were a county commissioner, because most people that live in unincorporated areas of a county that aren't in an urban area, they all have chickens and none of them can hear each other. So and I use that as an example just because it's one of hundreds of kinds of things that are flying around that are more urban types of problems that we end up getting having to engage in. So that what I will describe is that we have separate minutes for many of those meetings. We have separate people that we need to know for each of those roles. Who are the leaders in the housing authority? Who are the leaders in Clean Water Services and the players in various parts of that? And then the county organization. And these are large groups of people. I mean, Clean Water Services staff is twice the size of the city of Tigard, and the city of Tigard, had 60,000 people living in it. These are large organizations. This is not like you just, a couple people and you're good to go. Like it takes a lot of effort to really really do your job well. You asked about the main differences between the chair and the other commissioners. I'll just quickly comment on that. I think the formal responsibilities of the chair that are different in the charter are really around facilitating the meetings and setting the agenda and coordinating those things with the staff. I will say, having served as a mayor before, there are a lot of things that just get brought to whoever the elected leader is viewed as. And so I would say the county chair certainly gets a larger number of those kinds of, if staff have a question or an issue and they really feel like they need an elected to weigh in right now, the chair is going to be the person, just like the mayor would be the person that they would go to in a city. And so it's hard to quantify, but I will tell you that it is real. She's frequently the one needing to, or being invited to speak somewhere, which again drives, preparation for that. And actually doing it, being there, speaking on behalf of the county overall. So that's how I view the chair role and the differences there. You're asking about what boards and committees each of us serve on. I am now officially, from the county's perspective, I'm on the boards of Explore Tualatin Valley. That is the Washington County Visitors Association doing business as Explore Tualatin Valley. I am officially on the board of the Community Action Organization in Washington County, and then also on the board of the West Side Economic Alliance. So those three things, those are official board. I am the representative from the Board of County Commissioners to those three different entities and sit on their boards of directors. Those all, drive meetings, preparation for meetings, oversight, sometimes problem solving. I can talk about, how both the chair and I helped with that with community action recently, but sometimes it's just making sure the right people are talking to each other and the right conversations are happening. So those are the external boards that I actually sit on. And then my responsibilities internally within the organization are sitting on the Public Safety Coordinating Council as the Board of County Commissioners representative, the Juvenile Justice Subcommittee of that group of the Public Safety Coordinating Council. Let's see what else. I'm the other commissioner in addition to Commissioner Fye on the Public Safety Levy Committee. That's one that comes and goes. Like that's something that's been being worked on and will continue to be a thing and is pretty intense right now, but that's not something that will continue, indefinitely, but it does, those kinds of things ebb and flow. I'm also on the on ACRE, which is the group that really helps drive access and opportunity in the county, and that's a pretty powerful group. I serve as a liaison from the commission to ODOT and the Region 1 Area Commission on Transportation. I think I'm covering most of, maybe I've missed one or two, but I think I've covered most of my internally facing responsibilities there. I know you had questions about how many. Sorry, you're raising. Sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead.
so just kind of like, I think one thing we didn't have a question, but it's kind of good to know, like, can you maybe talk about your district and how some of the things might be unique about that as compared to other?
Absolutely, great question, and there are differences. So my district, by and large, most population in my district live in cities. So they live in the cities of Sherwood, Tualatin, Tigard, Durham, and King City. There is some unincorporated area that is mostly rural, and there's a little bit that's would be considered unincorporated urban area in Metzger and Bull Mountain. But by and large, most of the population in my district is in cities, and so that is something that is different from Commissioner Fye. For example, me hosting a town hall in the way that she does wouldn't necessarily make as much sense, but I go to every city, like basically round or meet with every city council twice a year. And I've just finished most of I have one or two more to go, but I'm making my rounds there. And then I meet regularly with the mayors of those cities. And that serves a similar purpose, though I'm meeting with people that represent other groups of people. But if I were to hold a town hall for people that aren't in cities, it would be a very different situation. I'm not sure where we'd even necessarily hold it or who we would invite, et cetera. And I may hold town halls anyway. Like I'm not saying I'm not going to do that, but it's a different dynamic for sure. But all that takes a lot of different time. Like last week I attended this week I was at the Tigard City Council meeting. The week prior, I had dinner with the mayor of Sherwood for purposes of discussing county business. Those are all things that take time. Most of those councils have seven people on each of the city councils. So that's a lot of people to know and a lot of people to interact with. And so that's just a dynamic that's a little unique. The other thing I would say is different, and this is just a personal, this is just the reality. And coming from the southeast part of the county, I think all the cities feel this. We are the furthest from the county services. And so for me to even get to a county I'm at the county building many times a week, and it takes me on a good day 35 to 40 minutes. And sometimes I'm there and back multiple times if I've got meetings, in between. So where some of the commissioners have, I'm very jealous of some of the commissioners that have much shorter transportation times, but it is what it is, and it's part of being. It's a good reminder for me about how challenging it is for people in my district to access county services. So is that helpful? And I can continue on some of your questions, but maybe I should let you ask questions as
That
well.
was great. That was great. I think you can move on
Okay.
to other questions. That
I don't have good perspective on how the role exactly has changed in the last 2 years. I started 6 months ago on the commission. I just don't have good insight or perspective on exactly how it's changed. I could guess, but it would be nothing more than a guess. Right now I am providing at least somewhere, it really depends on the week, but anywhere from about 35 to 50 hours is in particular right now, because I'm a new county commissioner. I am also attending a 100-hour program that the Association of Oregon Counties puts on over the first 6 months of my term. So that's really also intense and taking up weekends and evenings in addition to, the city council meetings. And we've been going through budget season. It's been a busy 6 months. Let's put it that way. There are probably very few weeks where it's on the lower end of that time estimate. Let's see. I'm looking at the rest of your list here.
I just have a question. Do you have another part-time job, or this is
I do right now, and that this is an interesting topic. I believe that I am having to take a significant pay cut from my previous leadership roles in healthcare, and so I have been doing some work to augment because I am a sole provider for my family. Those are choices I think we all have to make. And yeah, that means I'm working a lot of hours. I think I'm from all the feedback I've gotten and the work I've been able to deliver on, I think I'm doing an effective job and putting time in. But if you, it's hard. I see this with the state roles and other elected roles too, is the job can take as much time as you are willing to give it. And there's sort of like a never, and it's kind of like, to some extent, the demands are like a toddler. They'll take as much time as you're willing to give them, and as much attention as you're willing. And so what's challenging about that is, unless you want the entire elected group to look like a bunch of people that are either independently wealthy or retired, there's this dynamic that is challenging around that. So I've chosen to try to manage that and still serve by doing what I'm doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, what other questions? There are, again, so many evening and both evening meetings and community events. I think Commissioner Fye spoke to that to some extent. I could probably be going to 3 or 4 a week if I could really manage that with my mental health. That's just, there are a lot I have to prioritize, and I go to ones that are directly related to the organizations that I'm on the board of or supporting. And then I try to make others that I think are, key community events as best I can. And, I also try to kind of spread it around. So I might go to, if it's one that's not a real key one, but I know it's important, I will try to go to that one every couple of years, for example. I'm looking at your list. What else have I not covered?
So maybe you talked about like your recent county commissioner. How do you see it? The role has been very busy in the last 6 months, especially with the budget and other things happening. How do you see it changing in the next year or two?
I think the challenges that the county and Clean Water Services in particular have, and frankly, what we're dealing with on the supportive housing services front, which is really the housing authority, like all of those organizations have significant challenges that are not going to just be solved overnight. I think the demands on our time, even in the 6 months with what has gone on with Clean Water Services, has increased substantially, and I don't see that changing. I think the dynamic with the federal government is going to be driving a lot more work and presenting a lot more challenges. The oversight that's needed at Clean Water Services as we have leadership transitions is going to be significant. And that's going to be a multi-step process. Like that doesn't get resolved overnight, and the community is expecting a lot there. And then the work that's happening with Metro and supportive housing services is also another, a whole nother set of work that is really led by the elected leaders, and just takes a lot of time. We haven't done any discussion, at least I haven't said anything about the lobbying or advocacy efforts that we do on behalf of the county at the state level as well, but that's significant. I mean, all 5 of us were down at the state legislature a couple weeks ago for an entire day with meetings every 20 minutes, going from, office to office to office, 1 or 2 of us meeting with various representatives on specific topics and various senators. Like we were very strategic about what we did, and we were pushing the county agendas on topics. But that's a whole nother sort of set of advocacy work that we also have to do on behalf of Clean Water Services and on behalf of the county.
So one more question. I think you have had experience city government and now county, so maybe a unique view. In terms of the roles and responsibilities that you have as a county commissioner, and in terms of like the salaries that you guys have, how do you believe the roles of how do you think the responsibilities of the commissioners are fairly served by the salaries that you guys have, or whatever you want to mention there?
I mean, I think my answer to that would be similar to Commissioner Fai's. I don't, I think this is a hard conversation to have. What I struggle with is I want, and this is almost separate from just me and my role as a county commissioner. I would like to see some of the best leaders in our country serving in public service, and I think the financial barriers to doing that are significant, just in general, not related again to the county. But you look at the state legislature, you look at, various roles, like we do not have the best and brightest leaders, I don't think, typically being financially able to step up and do these roles. And I don't know that, I don't have a particular opinion on whether I think we're fairly compensated in the role. The roles are intense. They require a lot of unusual skills combined together, unique leadership, and I think listening and communication skills, and being able to connect with very diverse groups of individuals, and then also, needing to be making hundreds of policy decisions a year to benefit multiple different organizations. It's kind of not like it's not like another job. And so I don't know exactly how to answer that. I mean, I would love to not have to be doing some part-time work too, but that's also right now not reality.
Thank you for your perspective there. You already touched on this about like how Washington County is kind of unique and how the commissioners are playing not one role but 4 different roles. Is there anything else you want to add when comparing the Washington County commissioners to maybe Clackamas or Multnomah counties?
I think that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Tony.
Oh, I was just timekeeping. So yeah, it's been about 20 minutes.
Sounds good.
I think I shared in my answer to describing what our roles are and the 4 distinct roles. I don't believe any of the other three counties or the other two counties in Oregon in the metro area have even more than one of those roles. Like, both Multnomah and Clackamas County have small amounts of urban unincorporated area. I think each of them have separate housing authority boards that don't operate directly from the county commission. And I'm certain that none of them are operating an entity like Clean Water Services.
Anything else that anybody wants to ask? I think we have a couple of minutes left.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Snider went through the questions in the order that they were presented. Thank you very much for going through them and providing detailed answers. Appreciate it.
I tried. I wasn't sure quite how I was going to go, but a lot of questions, but good questions.
That was great. I think thank you so much for your time and openly answering all the questions that we had. I really appreciate making the evening here. I guess this was one more example of a meeting that you had to do after hours.
That's okay. This is what we do. I mean, if you don't want to do this, this is not the right role for you.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, I think that takes care of most of our planned agenda. Anything that anybody wants to bring up today that we haven't planned on?
Can I have kind of a clarification, and maybe it's actually a reminder for the commission, and maybe if I'm wrong in my assumption, Anne or Courtney or Tony can correct me. I think in the second meeting, and I'm saying that because a couple of commissioners at least mentioned the different hats that the board wear, the clean water services, housing, the city. Yeah, so I mean, the chair, in response to a comment that Commissioner Therese made, said that there was and she referenced the state law, 400 something, I can't remember the exact number of it, that it said that we cannot consider that just one job. We cannot consider that they have multiple jobs. It's still one position with those different tasks in there.
I think that conversation was, the question was asked if there was any compensation coming from the clean water services, and to that point, Chair was very clear that if there is anything coming from any other sources, that we should not be considering any additional stipends or payments coming from any other source. This job as a commissioner or as a chair is what it is. We should consider anything and everything on the face value of this job.
Yeah, I think Anne clarified some things before also, and I think she probably can give us a good answer again. Go ahead, Anne.
Yeah, so you all don't, we have a partnership with CWS for these salaries. But you are setting the salaries based on their county commission job. So you don't have to worry about them getting additional compensation. They're not. But the hat that you're being charged to decide this on tonight is based on their county commission hat. Does that make sense? Okay. Courtney, you're welcome to correct me.
Yeah, I was going to offer that I wasn't at the second meeting, so I didn't hear, but to Mr. Turkey's question, I wonder if what you were hearing was that because of their roles as commissioners, they are automatically the board of directors under ORS 451. So those roles come automatically tied to their election as commissioners. And other than that, I would be happy to follow up on the rest of the questions if not answered by Ms. Ober.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that this is our understanding. It's just a one position that we're considering. It's the county commissioner's position that we're considering a salary for, not just one hat, not different hats.
That's correct. That's correct. I think what you've heard tonight is just answers that relate to all of the obligations and duties that come tied to being an elected commissioner for Washington County.
So the way I understood it is we are considering the Washington County Board as one job, which has multiple responsibilities, including being board members of CWS and other things. And then we don't have to worry about where the salary or person. I think that was the other note that maybe Ms. was touching on, that we don't have to worry about how the salary comes from different partners and stuff. We set the salary and then the budget committee takes care of all of that.
Yes, I think that's my understanding too. And just one more clarification, the clean water service that's been brought up by everybody. So that also comes under the same hat.
Yep, it's a responsibility of the Washington County board member. So the last thing that we need to cover is any public notes that anybody wants to mention.
I have a few things about Chair Harrington's comment. She wrote that send us answers to the questions. So I was just thinking that since she has already answered what we asked, should we come up with some questions? If anybody has questions out of those answers, we should just come up with them for the next meeting.
So we can let her. So I think all of us should go through the answers that she has given before the meeting. And then we can kind of, if we think that there's clarifications that we need or we want to ask different questions, like that happened today also, right? I think it became clear that the districts are different, and it was good to hear from everybody how their district was unique, which was not a question that we were planning on asking before. So I think we should feel free to ask kind of questions that help us make a better call. Any other comments? Okay, let's open it for public comments. Kevin, if you want to arbitrate on that.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Would any members of the public viewing this meeting by Zoom wish to provide public comment to the Salary Commission for up to 2 minutes? Give you just a moment to utilize the raise hand function. Not seeing any hands, Mr. Chair.
Sounds good. We already have a plan for next meeting, so nothing changes there. We have gone through our planned agenda. No new item came up, so I'd like to adjourn today's meeting. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Well,